This is Robert Waterman for Seconds Out with Don Charles at Park. How are you, Don?
I'm always good. How are you?
I'm cool. I just thought, as I was here filming some background footage of one of the fighters based out of the gym, it would be good just to catch up with you. You were actually at the watch-along that we did for the Tyson Fury fight last week. What's your sort of view looking back on the fight and Tyson's announcement that he's retiring?
Yeah, it was an incredible event, a historic event because of the capacity of Wembley, it was, the fight went according to my expectations and predictions. Also, but what I'm disappointed with is the general consensus is that people didn't think the fight lived up to it. I don't know what people was expecting. Tyson Fury is an extraordinary individual and he's also an extraordinary fighter. The guy's IQ is second to none, boxing IQ, and it took him 3 rounds of collecting information on Dillian White, because Dillian White came in aggressively with a very, very good game plan, in my opinion. People are criticizing how he fought. You can only do what the person in front of you allows you to do, yeah? Tyson Fury, like I said, for 3 rounds, Dillian White had the right game plan, which Tyson had to feel. He didn't, if you notice, he came out being quite apprehensive. Then he collected enough data, then from about round 4, he started to implement his own game plan, which worked really, really well. And I didn't think the fight would end not necessarily, I predicted for a stoppage, but not before I thought it was later rounds, but he concluded the fight earlier than I thought. And what a finish, an emphatic finish. And Dillian White should not feel too down about it. He's in there. He's been in there with a special fighter of our era.
Dillian saying that although he was badly hurt, he was pushed down and therefore it was unfair. He should have been given more time.
Yeah, that's kind of a fighter's sort of mentality. He should really accept it. I'm sure when he goes back and watches that back, he'll have a change of heart. The push is almost like a reaction from a fighter. If you go throughout the history of boxing, very often you do see an action of a fighter. It's an instinctive reaction. You've hit somebody, they're falling towards you. It's an instinct thing to do to push your arms out. Okay, it's a reaction rather than an intentional, in my opinion. So, but when Dillian and his team goes and watches that, it was a fantastic uppercut. And if he watches it back, he was out on his feet, and what good call from the referee, because the referee gave him an opportunity. He did get up. Referee gave him an opportunity. Then obviously he fell onto the ropes, and there's no way you can continue fighting from that.
Okay, we were actually here today to get a bit of footage of one of the female boxers who works out of the gym here, Tyson Gallagher, and it would be wrong to do that and not just ask you about the magnitude of the fight taking place in New York this weekend between Taylor and Serrano. What does that mean for female boxing?
My goodness, I mean, it doesn't get bigger. I'm happy because it just shows you how far women's boxing has come a long way. It's very, very established now. The audience is growing day by day. So imagine they headlining at Madison, and that's, like I said, it's a historic event, and 2 fantastic, outstanding fighters competing. It's history. It's history.
Probably the biggest female fight in history.
Well, yeah, to date, yes. And that's only going to encourage and, like I said, draw attention to women's boxing in general going forward.
And it's going to obviously motivate fighters such as Tyson, who's here today, who's hopefully going to be on our watch-along on the weekend for the fight.
Most definitely. This is where they draw from. This people like young fighters like Tyson coming through, they'll obviously be inspired by that, because one day they too could end up there.
And then just finally, because I know you're a little bit short of time today, next week we've got Canelo fighting Bivol. Any comments, thoughts on that fight?
Very, very interesting fight. You know, obviously, Canelo is one of my favorite fighters in the world, currently in the world, and Bivol, a great puncher. Again, time and time again, Canelo has proven he's very versatile, that he's able to adapt, and he could knock you out any moment. He holds his power through the duration of the fight. Like when he fought Kovalev, Kovalev was ahead on points by a few good number of rounds, and he was still able to get a stoppage. I think it was right late, like 11 round, something like that. So with Bivol, I give him a puncher's chance, but Canelo's IQ is just, he's able to, again, during the fight, if he's behind on points, he's able to turn it around. He's versatile and he's adaptable. He will adapt during the fight. But he's in for a very tough fight.
So you talked about his IQ. So far, just having this quick chat with you today, we've talked about two fighters with immense boxing IQs, Tyson Fury and Canelo's. Yeah. Has one got the edge for you?
Gosh. I mean, in a different sort of ways, Canelo's IQ, I would, if I was marking it, if this was school and I was marking it, yeah, it's got to be Canelo, because this guy, he's gone through the weights, through different weight categories, and he's able to maintain. He's only ever lost once to Floyd Mayweather, okay? And from that loss, he's not, that was like 10 years ago, something ridiculous like that. He hasn't lost a fight since then, and he's gone over through 3 weight divisions to where he is today. And yeah, to me, his IQ is second to none.
Don, as always, thanks very much. Enjoy the fights this weekend, and I shall speak to you soon.
Most definitely, God willing.